Welcome back to The Hidden Logic as we begin our massive Week 11 investigation into the global food matrix. Over the past 10 weeks, we have exposed the military-industrial complex, the shadow economy, and the global intelligence network. We proved exactly how the global elite use physical violence and financial manipulation to control human populations entirely. But today, we must examine the most fundamental and biological vulnerability of the entire human species globally. We are going to expose the highly consolidated and heavily manipulated corporate system that provides your daily food supply. When you walk into a modern Western supermarket, you are immediately overwhelmed by the absolute massive variety of colorful products. You see 50,000 different items lining the bright aisles, offering you thousands of different flavors and brand names. This massive visual variety is intentionally designed to give you a powerful psychological feeling of absolute personal freedom and choice. You believe that the free market is providing you with endless independent options to satisfy your specific nutritional desires. But the hidden logic reveals that this beautiful supermarket variety is actually the most successful PORATE optical illusion ever created. If you trace the supply chain of those 50,000 different products back to their original corporate ownership structure, you will quickly discover that almost everything you consume is manufactured by a tiny group of massive multinational corporations. We call them the Big Ten, and they include massive names like Nestle, PepsiCo, Unilever, Kellogg, and General Mills today. These massive corporate empires own hundreds of smaller subsidiary brands that intentionally pretend to be independent, competing local businesses. When you stand in the grocery aisle, trying to decide between two different brands of bottled water or breakfast cereal, you are almost always choosing between two different marketing departments working for the exact same massive parent corporation. This creates a massive illusion of corporate competition while actually functioning as a highly coordinated and perfectly legal global monopoly. They control the entire horizontal and vertical supply chain, from the original raw ingredients to the final colorful plastic packaging. And this complete corporate consolidation does not simply stop at the packaged foods you buy in the middle supermarket aisles. If we go back to the very beginning of the biological food chain, we find an even more terrifying monopoly. We must look at the massive agrochemical corporations that entirely control the global supply of commercial farming seeds. Just for massive multinational corporations control over 60% of the entire global proprietary seed market today. Companies like Bayer, Syngenta, and Corteva literally own the biological patents on the genetic code of the plants we eat. They have completely financialized nature by legally claiming corporate ownership over the biological process of growing human food. A century ago, independent farmers saved their best seeds from every harvest to plant again the following agricultural season freely. Today, doing that is considered a serious federal crime because the seeds are legally protected corporate intellectual property. Farmers are forced into a brutal cycle of corporate debt, where they must buy new patented seeds every single year. They must also purchase the specific chemical pesticides and fertilizers manufactured by the exact same massive agrochemical corporations. If an independent farmer refuses to participate in this corporate system, they are quickly driven into absolute financial bankruptcy. And this brings us to a critical moment in our deep investigation, where I desperately need your direct perspective today. Let us pause right now, because I must know exactly how you feel about this massive corporate control of nature. Go down to the comments right now and answer this very specific and highly controversial moral question for our community. Should massive multinational corporations be legally allowed to patent the genetic code of natural seeds and biological human food? Drop your detailed answer in the comments below right now, so we can expose the real modern threats together completely. Your insight is absolutely crucial, because the mainstream media completely ignores the rapid destruction of the independent family farm globally. The global food matrix is intentionally designed to eliminate local agricultural independence and force everyone to rely on the corporate system. When a nation loses its ability to feed its own citizens independently, it completely loses its sovereign political power immediately. The politicians in Washington and London answer directly to the massive corporate lobbyists funded by these exact same food monopolies. They pass complex agricultural subsidy laws that exclusively benefit massive corporate farming operations while destroying small, local organic producers entirely. This is why highly processed artificial corporate food is incredibly cheap, while natural, organic, local food is extremely expensive today. The system is heavily subsidized by your own tax dollars to ensure the massive food monopolies never lose their profit margins. Furthermore, we must look at how these massive corporations exploit the developing world to secure their cheap raw materials constantly. They buy massive amounts of fertile agricultural land in South America and Africa to grow cheap soy and palm oil. They displace the local indigenous populations and completely destroy ancient rainforests simply to produce ingredients for cheap Western junk food. The global food matrix is a massive extraction engine that converts natural biological wealth into concentrated corporate financial power permanently. We must aggressively demand the immediate breakup of these massive agricultural monopolies and the total ban of biological seed patents. We must aggressively support local independent farmers and completely reject the artificial corporate food pushed by the mainstream marketing machine. You have a profound moral duty to share this urgent alternative perspective with everyone who feeds their children this food. Share this video immediately on Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, and every other social platform where your community actively gathers and communicates daily. We must break the powerful and dangerous illusion of the supermarket aisle and completely expose the corporate food matrix today. But controlling the corporate brands and the agricultural seeds is only the very first step of their massive biological agenda. What happens when the food itself is intentionally engineered to make you chemically addicted and permanently physically sick? Next time, we will expose the terrifying reality of the massive global sugar conspiracy and the highly processed food industry. We will discover how food scientists use advanced chemistry to bypass your natural biology and force you to consume poison. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and never stop questioning the artificial corporate narratives surrounding you every single day. The global food matrix relies entirely on your continued public ignorance, so stay awake, stay vigilant, and keep tracking the hidden logic.